All right, let's dive into something you've probably felt, but maybe couldn't quite put your finger on. We're talking about that strange loneliness you can feel during small talk and the incredible comfort you find in a meaningful silence.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Have you ever been at a party? I mean, you're surrounded by people, there's music, there's chatter everywhere, but you just feel completely, utterly alone? Almost like you're watching it all from behind a glass wall, even though you're right there in the middle of everything.
If that sounds even a little bit familiar, I want you to know one thing right now. It's not just you. That feeling of your social battery just plummeting during those surface level chats. Yeah, that is a deeply human thing. And there's a really fascinating reason why it happens.
So let's just get right to it and tackle this first big idea. We're going to debunk that antisocial myth once and for all. Because feeling this way doesn't mean there's something wrong with you.
It's so easy to do, isn't it? You start telling yourself, ugh, why can't I just enjoy this like everyone else? I must be awkward or antisocial. We slap these labels on ourselves because making small talk feels less like connecting with someone and more like, well, like a chore you have to get through.
But what if I told you that this has nothing to do with some kind of social failing? What if it's not about your personality at all, but about your neurology? The truth is that feeling is actually rooted in the very way your brain is wired to find and process a genuine connection.
In that unique wiring, it leads to a very specific need, a need for something that psychologists call resonance. And this right here is where it all starts to make sense. You see, for your brain to actually register an interaction as a real, satisfying connection, it's not just looking for shared words. It's looking for a shared rhythm, a shared frequency. It's searching for something very, very specific. And that something is called cognitive resonance. Just think about it. It's that amazing, satisfying click you feel when a conversation just flows. The pace, the depth, the back and forth, everything just lines up perfectly with your brain's natural rhythm. It feels totally effortless, right? This quote really just nails it. It's not that you hate talking about the weather or what someone did over the weekend. It's that the frequency of that conversation just isn't tuned to yours. You could talk about literally anything as long as they're both on the same wavelength. Okay, so if finding that cognitive resonance is the goal, then what's causing the disconnect? Well, a lot of the time, it just comes down to a simple mismatch in pacing. Your brain is literally moving at a different speed than the conversation happening around you. And research actually suggests that for a lot of people, the way they think, their natural cognitive pace, doesn't just show up on tests. No, it fundamentally shapes how they communicate, what they find funny, and what they actually find engaging to talk about. I mean, this difference in thinking pace, it touches everything. It can influence your sense of humor, maybe making you lean towards jokes that are a little more complex. It helps shape your core values, which makes you want to talk about bigger ideas. It's what drives that craving for depth. And here's the big one. It often means your mind is just processing and connecting ideas much, much faster. And this is where you get that clash. You know, the typical conversation pace is usually focused on social pleasantries. It moves pretty slowly from one surface-level topic to the next. But if your brain is wired to constantly look for patterns, to make these quick connections, and to dive deep, well, it can feel like you're trying to drive a sports car that's stuck in first gear. It's just frustrating. And this feeling, this experience, it actually has a name. It's called social mismatch. It is that exact sense of loneliness and disconnection you feel when your own cognitive rhythm is totally out of sync with the group's. So see, it's not you being antisocial. It's your brain just not finding its tempo. So what do we do with this? How does this help? Well, understanding all of this lets us completely reframe how we think about connection. We can move away from self-criticism and move towards self-awareness. And here's really the most crucial point of all. Just understanding the why behind this feeling, it changes everything. It's no longer some personal flaw. It just becomes a simple preference, like having a favorite kind of music. So let's just quickly run through the big takeaways here. Number one, that need you have for depth, it's a real, genuine cognitive trait. Number two, social mismatch is the real term for that lonely in a crowd feeling. Three, and this is so important, it's about the pacing of the conversation, not your personality. And finally, you're not antisocial. You're just looking for resonance. And look, at the end of the day, this isn't a judgment call. It's not about being smarter or better than anyone else. It's just
about operating on a different wavelength. Some people are like AM radio, some are FM. They're all broadcasting. They just need a different kind of tuner to come in clearly. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In a world that seems to value constant talk, what if the deepest, most profound connections aren't found by filling every second with words? What if they're found when you find someone you can share a comfortable, meaningful silence with? Maybe that shared silence, that's the true resonance we've all been searching for.